We've been hard at work improving the social media capabilities of Adobe Express, allowing you to streamline your process from creation through to publishing through to analysis in one single tool. So let's walk you through some of the new features that we've landed. All right, let's start with this Instagram portrait post that we're working on. As you'll know already, you can just go ahead and choose to share this, and I'm going to share this to Instagram. You've got a couple of options here, so you can either post this directly from the mobile app. That gives you all the flexibility that you get natively on Instagram. So you want to tag people, you want to tag locations, maybe you want to add a link sticker. All of those things you could do natively on the platform, allowing you to streamline the flow from creation on desktop through to final publishing on mobile. Of course, that wouldn't be scheduling. Scheduling support is supported through a slightly different flow. We'll press schedule here. So we can choose how we want to schedule this one. So I'll just make this one a post. So as this one loads, so now we can generate a caption. So before we had to prompt this, of course we could write in any caption we want, but actually we can generate this from scratch. So I'm just going to generate a new caption. It's going to generate it just from the image here. And it's incredibly impressive, the level of caption it comes up with, even from no prompt. There we go. We don't really have much context in here, but that's actually genuinely good. Of course, we could go ahead and tweak and change as we need to, add some emojis, edit, adjust, etc. But that looks pretty good to me. We can also add alt text as well. So this will give us our ability now to ensure that screen readers can interpret the content that we post. And we've also added the ability to add additional mentions. So here we can say, hey, at Adobe, so we can just go ahead and link those profiles as well. So helps us maximize engagement. So really useful here. Of course, we can add a first comment if we want to add some links in there. We can also preview that content to see exactly how it's going to look. And then we are ready to publish this. So in fact, I'm actually going to schedule this, set it as a draft, and I'm just going to put this as a reminder in my calendar to post it next week. Drafts are super useful for knowing the date and time you want to put something out, but when you're just not quite sure that it's ready yet, we can just save it as a draft. Cool. So that's how we can speed up end-to-end creation to publishing using some of the new tools which involve tagging, which involve caption writing, also alt text creation. So let's go back to the calendar. So in the calendar now, we'll see the post that we just created here. So this is our draft that we just added here. We could move it around and slide it around if we want to move it onto a different day. So that's what drafts are great for. We've also got post ideas, which is in the left-hand side column here. This is great for any idea that you might have, but you don't know what to do with yet. So we can just go ahead and pop in an idea here. And because we haven't got a date and time, it's just going to be pinned here. Great for things that you're not quite sure you're ready to post yet, but it's a great way of having like a little pin board of things that you're going to be working to. So there we go. We'll just drag and drop and add it in. Okay, now there's some other ways that we can view our calendar. So we're looking at a month view, we could look at a week view, and we can also look at a grid view. So this way we can get a true preview of what our Instagram grid looks like. As you can see, mine's pretty consistent, read boring, but here, this obviously looks quite different. So one of the powerful things is I'm going to show you a brand new feature that's going to help us make our grid look good here. So I am going to head back into Express just by pressing home, and I'm going to look at one of the videos that we've created before. Now, a new feature that we added in Adobe Express before, I'm just going to delete that one quickly. So here's the type of videos that I create. We've also added embedded caption creation in here directly in the editor to again speed up the workflow of the closed captions that we want to put on this. Now, I'm just going to go ahead and schedule this. So I'll press share again. Actually, I'm going to put this on multiple platforms. We just scheduled it to Instagram in our last one, but actually I can put this across multiple. So I'm going to choose Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok in this instance. So there we go. That looks pretty good to me. So for Facebook, we're going to make this a reel. So we've just added a Facebook reel posting. Incidentally, Facebook Reels are really good to drive reach, fantastic for distribution. So if you want more eyes on your content, Facebook Reel is great for that. So we're going to add a caption here. I'm actually going to prompt this one to say social media update. And let me just make sure I can spell, and then we're just going to go ahead and generate a new caption from that. So this is our way of prompting that caption into existence. That looks pretty good to me. I'll insert that. That works. Okay, so another new feature that we've added is the ability to edit the reel cover. I showed you what the grid looks like. So if we edit the reel cover, we can add a custom cover or select a frame. There we go. That first frame is okay, so we're going to select that. But of course, we could design our own frame as well directly on Express and update that here. So now we've got full creative control over how our reel cover looks as well. So another way that we can make sure our Insta grid looks aesthetically consistent and pleasing by using these latest tools of reel cover edits and the ability to preview your content in an Instagram grid view. Something else that's going to help with this too is your social safe zones directly in edit flow. So here, if I add safe zones here, and this is going to be an Insta reel, you'll see the safe zones that I'm working to. You can see that my ugly mug is straight in the middle here. So that looks fine. That's framed appropriately. The kind of main focal point in this video is out the way of the channel UI. So that looks good to me. But again, this is just another way that you can make sure as you're going through the flow of creation, you can have certainty as to how that content is going to look when it's posted. All right, so let's go and navigate us back to the calendar. Let's hit the Adobe icon in the top left and head back into schedule. Here we are still in that grid view. Of course, we can edit from here as well, and we can now just look at our Reels feed as well. All right, so here, now we're just going to go back to month view, but what we can see, we've got a bunch of quick actions at the top that will give us some ideas where to get started. We've made it easier for you to schedule your recent work, so anything that you've been working on within Express. So here's a lot of my recent projects that I've been working on in Express, so we could easily go ahead and schedule these. As you can see, this is a multi-page file, this one. So this is perfect for us creating Instagram carousels, which always work really well. So I can just go ahead and reorder this media as well. A nice, easy way that we can have like clarity on how our carousels are going to look. Okay, we've already spoken about social captions and saving post ideas, but there's a couple more we want to look at here. Creating social clips. All right, video is incredibly important. We know that, and we know how important reels are. And one thing that's delightful about this vertical video, it means that it's okay to be used across multiple platforms. And I often repurpose content across several platforms to maximize reach and distribution. So here I've got a video that looks like this. This is a podcast between Liz and Phil. All I need to do is upload it here and choose the aspect ratio. And after 10 minutes, it will then come back with 10 perfectly clipped clips from that video. So all lined with between 30 to 60 seconds and all given a particular narrative. So I can look at this in full page view, so it even gives all of these pages a little title so we know what this is all about. So let's say AI versus handmade, which is like a common discussion point here. We could just take that, we can edit some components of it. Of course, we've already got captions as part of the caption writer here, and then we can just go ahead and share this directly. So again, we're going to schedule this post. We're going to choose multiple channels here because it works across all of them. Let's add a little caption to say, what's better, AI or handmade? I think I know the answer to that question, but there we go, bit provocative. So we'll pop that in there. Great. So now we'll get a caption that's written for us here. We like that. We can just go ahead and highlight some components of that, and we could just go ahead and rewrite a segment of it. Again, we can add our Reels covers to this. We can change the thumbnail as well and choose a date and time that we're going to schedule it. And again, I would suggest putting this out as a reel for both Instagram and Facebook. That again will maximize reach, will ensure that we have good coverage. As you can see, here's our Instagram and TikTok options. So we've got the ability to tailor our posts across all of these different platforms. And what we're going to do now is just go ahead and schedule this. I think I'm going to choose the date and time for this one. Let's go ahead and choose the calendar date for next week. And let's set this one as draft, add that as draft. There we are, done. That's in our calendar, view in calendar. So here, let's just take us back to the calendar again. We can see the multiple posts that we've just created. How easy was that to go from end to end, from a longer form video cut down into perfectly formatted clips that we had full editorial control over. We could tweak and change, we could add some more branding elements on it, and then we can schedule it across multiple platforms, tailoring our thumbnail as well to make sure aesthetically it looks all good. How's our grid looking now? Because we've got some more posts that are scheduled. So there we go. Probably want to change the thumbnail on that. So I'll just hit there and choose, probably add a custom cover for that one to make sure aesthetically it's in sync with the rest of the grid. So we've got a lot of flexibility. And as you can see, we're really starting to speed up the content creation workflow here. So that takes us into a couple of final points. So one, you're going to see this little option here of shared calendars. So what I've been working on so far is my personal calendar. So great if you're a small business, an individual creating your social media schedule and planning it all out. Perfect. But what about when you're working in a team and everyone else needs to see what you're working on and others want to collaborate with you? That's where shared calendars come in. So shared calendars, they live in projects in Adobe Express. So if I go to this building your brand one, so here this is in our building our brand project. We are collaborating, so Liz has access to this as well with me. And here, this is now our shared calendar. So everything that we've been working on together is now visible to all of us. Both of us, depending on our permissions, have ability to edit, and change, and do whatever we need to. So this gives us full creative control. We can work on our shared calendar together. And just as a reminder how we set up our projects, they live in your stuff. Projects are a wonderful way of bringing lots of content together. So let's take building your brand, this one. We've created a project, we've chosen who we want to have access, and here if we look at our team members, we can see who we have access to this. We can add members, we can choose what roles that they play, and then we've got all of our content in our project along with our calendar that is shared between us. So a really lovely way that we can work together and collaborate around a calendar. And that also means that many of us, we have lots of different channels and connections that we need to add. That means that we can also add many, many channels and connections. So multiple per profile. And of course, as we look through our shared calendars as well, we can connect more at a shared calendar level too. So a lovely way that we can connect multiple social profiles, because I know many of you run several social channels, not just across multiple networks, but multiple profiles within one individual network. So a great way of making sure you have access to this is by, adding more here. So we can just add new and connect more profiles at an individual level, but we can also connect these shared calendars. So if I go back into building your brand, we also have more connections we can add in here as well. So these are our shared connections. All right. So the final thing, for the final time, heading back into schedule, back into my personal calendar here, we're going to click track content performance. So through an add-on called Metrical, this then gives you all of the insight into your posts as well. Great, now we can see all of our content performance. So if we look across Instagram, for example, we can see our content performance and how our followers have grown over time, our average engagement rates, our demographics, followers per country, where we see spikes and trends in certain things, top performing posts as well. And do the same on multiple platforms. So here's LinkedIn, so we can see all of our performance across LinkedIn. We can even customize our own reports and have them automatically emailed to us or our clients. We can have more connections in this as well. There is no limit here. We can also connect both organic and paid channels as well. So if you want to see your Facebook performance organically against your paid, you can see that easily here. So that is where we're at with Content Scheduler right now. Amazing end-to-end flows with a depth of functionality like tagging pages, adding alt text, caption writing, workflow superchargers like the ability to create social clips and immediately change those, customize the reel covers, organization through the calendar and the grid views, and the ability to analyze the performance of your content. So really making Express into an all-in-one social media hub. Hope you found this update useful, and let us know if you have any questions. Thank you.